A couple of years ago, when I was 17, I was simply asking questions about who is God and how do I know Him. And then in a Bible study, I was going to they read, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." And for some reason, that clicked inside of me, and I wanted to know the person who said that because I felt I was poor in spirit. I wanted to know God, and I felt that this verse was going to give me that answer, not knowing the journey it would take me on. And I also knew that God wanted us to love one another, but I didn't know what that meant. A short note is that I am autistic, and part of my unique characteristics lead me to be an obsessive sponge for knowledge. It also means I have about a 5-minute gullibility factor, which means that I'll believe almost anything for a short bit, but then I start to ask a lot of questions. And in seeking Jesus, who is found in the scriptures, I read the entire Bible several times, and I studied doctrines around the interpretations. Starting from Genesis, I studied the mystical renditions of the young earth and the old earth and the gap theory in Genesis 1, the Augustinian 24-hour model, several other different renditions of interpretations. And then I've also studied theistic evolution. And right here I want to stop because I want to say if there's anybody out there who's using evolution or any other scientific ideal or ideology to reject the scriptures, that you should stop, because there are many people out there who legitimately probably adhere to the exact same ideals you do on the scientific method, but they don't reject the scriptures, and they don't have a problem with evolution or an old universe or an old earth or dinosaurs or all these other things that you're using as an obstacle. If you find me, you can ask me, or you could probably find many other people who have come to conclusions about those scientific concepts. But back to where I was. I've studied the scripture both in a literalist and a metaphorical fashion. I've studied all the millennial ideals, including preterist and pre and post, and all the tribulation, including the post and pre and pan, all the eschatology, all the soteriology, exegesis, hermeneutics, the ethic dichotomies between the Greeks and the Hebrews on how they understand the body, soul, time, faith, and deeds. Studied the various Calvinism, Arminianism, Molinism, Arianism, Sabellianism, Docetism, Marcionianism, Dispensationalism, and all these other different renditions, isms. And I've even debated, okay, is God bigger than heaven? Is God in heaven, or is heaven in God? Which is bigger? And all these studies did not create in me the character that God was looking for. It created a character, but not a godly one. It created a monster that loved to debate and to tear opponents and to live to prove everyone was wrong, and to be a marauder that corrected everybody's incorrectness. The funny thing was that every time my views changed, I viewed my old views as a heresy. So it's like I've been a heretic probably 900 times according to my own points of view. So I got to the point where I had to start praying, okay, Jesus, what do you really want me to believe? Not just what I've studied, but what do you want me to believe, and who am I supposed to be? And through a series of events and revelations and just internal arguments, Jesus started to ask me, what did you first believe when I first came to you? What did you know? And the answer was, I knew nothing. Except that you came to reconcile us to God, and that you called us to love one another. And then he said, start there. And this is the command of God, that we believe in the Son whom he has sent, and that we love one another as he has commanded us. That the fruit of the Spirit isn't perfect knowledge or perfect doctrine or perfect ritual. It's about being perfect in love, loving one another and humbling ourselves before God. And the greatest act of humbleness is realizing we cannot do this on our own. In fact, we cannot save ourselves at all. It is a gift of God through Jesus Christ. The sacrifice of Christ alone saves. And through all these studies and questions, Jesus has been the one thing that has been constant. Even through many years of bitterness and anger and frustration, Christ alone has been constant. When I turn around, he is still there with me, giving me confirmation that he has never left. And you know, God cannot deny his own character. If he says he will be faithful, he will be faithful. And so we are called to love as Jesus has loved, carrying one another's burdens and doing good to all, forgiving one another, showing mercy. And these fruits are the things we should see: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. And if you study, you realize that all the last 8 fruits are all dimensions of love and charity, as the King James would call it. So that is where I am. I know that Jesus Christ loves me, has reconciled me to God, and is changing me. And that he is changing me that I may be humble before God and love one another as he has commanded us.